Hey guys, it's Dr. Daniel Sugai, board certified dermatologist. Summer's coming up. The warm weather is finally here in Seattle. So I did another YouTube video on my favorite sunscreens a few years back. This is my updated list because I've noticed that the skincare world has really blown up ever since the pandemic. And now I've been seeing companies stepping it up, especially their facial moisturizers with SPF. I really feel like the game is really elevated. We're not seeing as much of a heavy white cast with mineral only sunscreens, mineral being zinc or titanium dioxide. So I'm going to be going through quite a bit of sunscreens. I'm going to try and break it up by facial moisturizers with SPF, tinted sunscreens, sticks, my thoughts on sprays, and also for mature skin, people like myself and mid 30s to 40s and 50s. I'm going to really be talking about some new technology that has been shown to help with mature skin. So let's jump into it. So I did a YouTube video recently on facial moisturizers with SPF. They're usually not water resistant. They're just for your casual everyday use. If you're gonna work out or do water play though, you want a dedicated sunscreen with a water resistant grading on the bottle or box. Water resistance can be either 40 minutes or 80 minutes. An 80-minute water resistant sunscreen you want to reapply every 80 minutes. Let's talk about the facial moisturizers though with SPF. So I've talked about CeraVe AM, the ultralight moisturizer with SPF 30. I really like the texture of the ultralight here, but it doesn't have niacinamide like the AM. I've also talked about Cetaphil, their SPF 35 moisturizer, also with niacinamide, and the texture isn't as good as this one, but it is very solid and quite lightweight. Let's talk about the others though. I really like La Roche-Posay's Tolerian Double Repair Facial Moisturizer with SPF 30. This also has niacinamide, and we like niacinamide because it's a vitamin B3 analog that helps with inflammation, skin brightening, and also regulating sebum for those with oily skin. Another nice option I found recently, this is number 7's fragrance-free day cream. That's SPF 30. This is a chemical UV filter base sunscreen. Comes in a jar. Sunscreen is quite lightweight. I'm going to show you in the back of my hand here. After a few swipes, this disappears very nicely with little to no white cast. So I've been really enjoying this. I've even applied it to my eyelids and there's no sting whatsoever. This has 3 chemical UV filters. And my only critique though is out of a jar, right? The jar, I know some people are weirded out by. Always have clean hands when you stick your finger in the jar. I really would have liked this in the pump because on the go, when I'm running out the door, I like pumps because it's quite convenient. I always lose the caps for the pumps, but quite convenient, right? So check this one out. Another one that I've really come to love is Vanicream's facial moisturizer. Their sunscreens traditionally have not been the greatest because it had a really thick white cast like their sport or active sport sunscreen in the past, but their daily facial moisturizer and their facial moisturizer with SPF 30 have been great additions to my routine. This one's zinc oxide only, and it's amazing how lightweight it is. So the Vanicream did a really good job with this one. So only being zinc oxide only, it rubs in quite nicely. You might have a little bit of a white cast, but very solid. So that one's another nice one to consider. If you want something that's very lightweight, boosting with hyaluronic acid because it's the hydrator, this is the Hydra Boost SPF 50 moisturizer. This one's also quite lightweight. The back of my hand's gonna be so well protected after this when I go to the gym. So that just a couple swipes goes away, has a nice dewy finish. SPF 50 to SPF 30, not a big difference, but if you don't put enough sunscreen or moisturizer with sunscreen, your sun protection factor will pay for it. So you need to have a 1/4 teaspoon amount of sunscreen on your face for the full protection. If you don't put that amount on and you underestimate how much to put on an SPF 50, it could be an SPF 30. SPF 30 though, if you underestimate that, you run into trouble. You could have an SPF 10 on your face, and that's when it's not enough coverage. Adequate coverage is a sun protection factor of 30 or above, okay? So those are nice facial moisturizers with SPF. Let's jump into my favorite sunscreen for face and body. I really couldn't find the Blue Lizard sunscreen for the life of me. I think it's in my kid's swim bag, but that's Blue Lizard sheer or sensitive sunscreen, SPF 50 plus, are great water resistant options for your face and body if you're gonna go to the pool, the beach, or work out outside and get sweaty. So those are nice water resistant options. Another nice water resistant option, which I was very grateful CeraVe got into the face and body game, is this new one. the hydrating sheer sunscreen. It's SPF 30 and it's for face and body, and it's water resistant 80 minutes. It has your niacinamide and your three essential ceramides. So this one I've really enjoyed using, and so affordable, of course. CeraVe you find at your local drugstore. See, it comes out very lightweight. And as you guys know, this is a hybrid. You have zinc oxide and you have 3 chemical UV filters, but wow, very lightweight. Love the sophisticated feel to it. So I think this is a really nice addition to CeraVe's line. Their traditional hydrating mineral sunscreens, SPF 30 and 50, have been really painful or tough for me to use. I use it only for my kids because the white cast is no joke. It's intense. So I was happy to see that they did this one very well. Now, if you want another body sunscreen and you have mature skin and you're worried about crepiness, or we call actinic purpura, where you're having easy bruising on your forearms and your legs, I like OneSkin. This is a newer brand to me, but I've really looked at the research. It's founded by PhDs. They have some studies behind it for their OS1 peptide. So this peptide really helps with collagen production. It helps clear out senescent cells that have lost the regenerative capabilities in your skin. And so it reverses your biological age of your skin. So they use a zinc oxide only formula, and it's really nice. I was first introduced to their facial sunscreen, and the facial sunscreen, I was like, this is really good. It is pricey, but I really like the texture of it. They did a nice job with the texture. Plus, peptides are really up and coming, especially for those who can't tolerate a retinoid for their face and body. Peptides are great cell signal ingredients to help increase collagen and really thicken up your skin. So OneSkin, check out this body sunscreen. Big question I get from people are, what are your thoughts on sprays? Sunscreen sprays, I have no problem with it. My only problem is that there was a study by Valley Shore a few years ago. They found that there were contaminants of benzene in some sunscreens, and a lot of that subset of sunscreens that were guilty of having contaminants of benzene, which is a carcinogen, as you guys know, a lot of them were aerosolized spray sunscreens. So that's where I'm like, maybe I won't recommend them as much, because I don't know if it's regulated well, or if it's really, seems like with the manufacturing process is pretty readily picked up the benzene. So my other thing with spray sunscreens is that on a windy day, it's not a reliable way to apply your sunscreen, right? If the wind's blowing, a lot of the UV filter particles are just going to fly away with the wind. I always say 4 passes at least with your spray sunscreen on a windy day is adequate, but I do worry about that. So for the body, I would say I use mostly creams, and I know this can be hard to justify. You can say, hey, I gotta cover my body and I gotta use this expensive sunscreen. I actually use a UPF shirt when I go out to the beach or to the pool. Nice thing about UPF clothing, say UPF 50, that blocks 98% of UV rays when you're outdoors. And the nice thing is you don't have to wait 15 minutes for your sunscreen to set and become fully active before jumping in the water. You're ready to go. And you also don't have to reapply your sunscreen, because say you have, this one, thankfully water resistant 80 minutes. You don't have to come out of the water and reapply 80 minutes, or dry yourself, then apply another layer of sunscreen and then let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes before jumping back in. You have your sun shirt and you're ready to go, right? Whether the sun goes overcast and bright or vice versa, you're ready to go regardless of what the sun's doing at that particular time of day, okay? So that's my thoughts on spray sunscreens. Sticks are really nice for reapplication. I know this stick looks like it's seen better days, but I've had this in my swim bag for my kids and also my golf bag, because sticks are nice for reapplication. Reapplication is key. Like we talked about, every 1 to 2 hours you want to reapply your sunscreen. So when I play golf, round of golf is about 4 hours. So after 9 holes, or the halfway point, you're at 2 hours. And you want to reapply your sunscreen. So that's a good time to reapply. But a lot of times my hands are nasty. We've been touching the golf ball. We have grass and dirt all over our fingers. We don't want to squirt a nice bottle of sunscreen cream and rub it on our face. So what I do is I use a stick to reapply my sunscreen. I suggest that to my patients who are bikers, motorcyclists, and they want to reapply their sunscreen. I like sticks a lot. So my favorite this year has been still Neutrogena's Mineral Ultra Sheer SPF 50, 80-minute water-resistant grade there. The only critique to this would be there's a white cast with this, but I don't mind it because I like seeing where I miss. So when I put it on, I like to see that white cast. I like to do about 4 to 5 swipes with the stick in a particular area before moving on. This one has zinc oxide, right? If you want something that's from your favorite K-beauty brand, Beauty of Joseon, This is their matte sunstick mugwort. So mugwort has been quite popular in the K-beauty world. And, you know, these botanical ingredients in here have so far been pretty gentle for a lot of my patients. So it's been good. But I always worry about botanical ingredients in sunscreens causing allergic contact dermatitis in some. But this one been really nice. Has a kind of a green tint. It has silica, so if you have oily skin, it helps pick up the excess oil. And it rubs in really nice. So this has been a nice portable sun stick if you don't want the white cast. Okay, let's talk about tinted sunscreens. You know, I've talked about La Roche-Posay and Thelios 50 quite a bit. Now we're gonna move on to talk about other ones. You know, Tizo has been a really nice tinted sunscreen that I love the tint on this. It's been really nice. I was exposed to this when I was a dermatology resident at Harvard, and this cream is so nice. The tint is really nice for my skin tone. SPF 40, water resistant, and it's a nice primer here if you want to put makeup over it, but man, it blends in so nicely. And if you have any blemishes on your face, this hides it well like a BB cream, okay? I also like Elta MD UV Elements a lot. My staff loves that one. That's their favorite. I really have to commend Neutrogena for making a tinted sunscreen line, and they say, oh, we're late to the game, but I have to commend them for having multiple shades here. So we have light for, say, fair skin individuals, like fair skin Asians. I'm a little bit on the darker side. I like the medium. The medium works well for my skin type. Fitzpatrick skin type 4, 5, 6. You might want to consider medium deep to the deep, but I love that Neutrogena has different options because, again, tinted sunscreens, that's a very trial and error game. And a lot of my patients with deeper skin tones have a hard time finding a good tint. And we like tinted sunscreens because it has iron oxides to block visible light outdoors. And if you have hyperpigmentation, you want to block that as much as possible. So the Neutrogena one is nice. They have vitamin E in it, which is an antioxidant. I really like the medium tint for my skin tone. So good job, Neutrogena, for making that line. Otherwise, I do like, you know, for affordability, I like traveling with CeraVe's hydrating mineral sunscreen. That's why this one looks a little beat up. I take this on my travels. This tint works really well for my skin tone. You know, it's so affordable. If I forget it when I travel, I'll just go to the local Target, pick more up right there. See, blends it really well. My wife, her favorite is the Universal Tinted Moisturizer by Dermatology. This one's not water resistant. It's more of a moisturizer with SPF, but the iron oxides in this is so nice. It's a lightweight tint, very good. Next up, we're gonna talk about some sunscreens that are mineral based, and I've been quite surprised by the texture. First off, this is very affordable. It's like $10 for this Good Molecules sunscreen. I never used this brand until I tried their sunscreen, and I want to try more of their products, but their sheer sunscreen is just only with zinc oxide, and it rubs in really well. Like, I was expecting more of a white cast. You might have a little bit of a white cast, but it reminds me of Coco Kind's SPF 30. Their sunscreen is really nice and zinc oxide only, and it blends in very well. That's a nice one, kind of similar to my Vanicream recommendation earlier. Another brand that I've talked about on the channel, Maylove, the Sun Protector. I've always talked about their vitamin C serum, the Glow Maker. Their Sun Protector is zinc oxide only, and it's SPF 30, and wow, they made a really nice sunscreen here. Look how nicely that blends in for a zinc oxide only sunscreen. I've been impressed by that one a lot. If you're more of a mature skin type, you know, consider OneSkin, their facial non-tinted sunscreen. So nice. I love that texture. And I quickly wanted to mention a sunscreen that has this special ingredient. So if you have a family member or if yourself deals with pre-skin cancers or skin cancers, definitely wear your sunscreen to block the UVA and UVB, but also consider this brand Isden. They have this Eraphytona actinica ingredient in it that is known to help with DNA repair. When you have sunburn, sun exposure, that UV radiation can really mess with our DNA and cause kinks in our DNA, and thus leads to skin cancer tumors, including melanoma, which we want to avoid at all costs. This helps with the DNA repair because we need that DNA repair enzyme to help clip out and remove those bad kinks in our DNA so we don't get skin cancer and malignancy. So this is a nice sunscreen that is a tinted and non-tinted option. This is a tint option. It's very liquidy and lightweight, but consider this if you have mature skin and you're going to your dermatologist. They're spraying you with liquid nitrogen quite a bit. Consider the Isden Eraphytona actinica sunscreen. Okay. If you want to go for a higher price point, I've always loved Skin Better Science, but their sunscreens, I understand they're mineral, but you pay for it. They're expensive and they're at least water resistant. Their tinted option, non-tinted option are quite nice, but you know, you're paying for it. And this is the look of their tinted sunscreen. Quite nice. A little thicker, but might not match my skin tone the best actually. But I use this when I go to the pool. I want to block that visible light when I'm at the pool, because I've been having a hard time finding some tinted sunscreens with water resistance. So this is the one that I'll have in my pool bag if I'm gonna sit outside, watch the kids swim. I want to block that visible light. So that's a special one for sure. Now, you know, if I were to go to Paris or Europe in general, I would want to get the La Roche-Posay UV Immune 400. This blocks long UVA, and also would get the Cicaplast Balm B5 SPF 50. The Cicaplast is great for healing your scars. It's very soothing, but it also has sunscreen because you always want to wear sunscreen over your scars. So those are two picks that I would get in Paris. So these are nice. I wish we had these UV filters or these products in the US. Just want to do a quick shout out to EU products there. So I hope this video was helpful. We talked a lot about sunscreens, but I try to break it up as much as I can. Try to incorporate sunscreens that my patients have raved about. Please hit the like button. Please share with your friends who are looking for sunscreen this summer season. Wear your sunscreen all year round though, and make sure you look at the water resistance label and use the water resistant sunscreens when you're gonna do water play or workout. Okay guys, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Having a lot of fun here, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.